horrible treatment of someone who's come forward with a credible account of sexual assault and pretty violent rape. And I wanted to talk about what's happening here locally and how important it is for us to speak out. And so you might have seen that CBS Local 2 and Chris Long, he wrote on his personal Facebook page attack of victims. He called it a lesser miscreant behavior. He said boys will be boys. He said all men do this while they're growing up, which we know is not true. So I'm asking for your help and your support. I think we should all, as Democrats, as people who care about victims, call CBS Local 2, comment, because I've looked at some of those comments on Facebook and they're all scary and sort of horrible about victims. Last night I shared my story of being a sexual assault survivor and rape survivor. I think if I asked in this room to raise our hand, half of us would probably raise our hand if we've been victims of sexual assault and harassment. And so this is really important, and how we talk about sexual violence is important. And I wrote that I was 4 years old when the Anita Hill hearings happened. And I remember thinking about it, and just I didn't know what it was or what was happening. I just remember thinking she was a bad woman, she was lying. And it took me literally until my 30s to say, look into it. I read the Wikipedia page, I learned all about it, and I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I took that away from that moment. That's happening again now, 27 years later, and it's worse, not better. She's not even getting an FBI investigation. So please, do what you can. I really would appreciate your support in talking to CBS Local 2, talking to Chris Long, saying this is unacceptable. We will not accept this treatment of sexual assault survivors. One thing I want to say as well, since it's a candidate forum and we have an incredible array of candidates running at all levels, we have to support these local candidates who are going to then, with your help, you helped me get elected to Palm Springs City Council, and now I can use that platform to advocate for sexual assault survivors. And there are amazing candidates here in this room who are going to do that as well for all of the issues that we care about as Democrats and as progressives. So thank you for this. This is so important. I just want to say, since I was here last year, please give to these candidates. I know we have Joyce Silver, who's incredible. We need to support her so we can leave no stone unturned. We have Representative Raul Ruiz, who has voted for the Violence Against Women Act each and every time. He's been a stalwart for And I wanted to say one quick thing about Wayman Furman, who's running in Indio against Mike Wilson. Because we have someone, I have endorsed Wayman and I contributed to his campaign. And we have someone, Mike Wilson, who has been accused of harassment and mistreatment of women in his department and in the city. So we have an opportunity with Wayman to support a candidate who stands with women, who stands with our rights, who stands with his community, and that's really incredibly important, and that's why I'm supporting Wayman Furman for Indio City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. We have, while we're on the subject, why don't we dedicate this meeting today to Dr. Ford? Can we do that? Can we also declare that there should be a men and women's new feminist movement? We need it. We need to kick some ass. And on that note, Megan is going to bring us up with something here. And then we will get to announcements, Eileen. We want you to recommit. Recommit. We need to recommit. Are we all on board? Yes. We've got a lot of work to do.
You got the whole thing.
The November election is coming up really quickly, and all of these candidates need your help. So, we're going to get into introducing the candidates who are here today, but I want Eileen to, since we're talking about women and what's going on with the hearing and our new dedication, here's Eileen Stern.
So I think we got, hi everybody, I think we got most of you when you came in. Perfect introduction from Christy. If you're as fired up as we are about this whole women's issue, then I hope you are all going to put your money where your mouth is and support Planned Parenthood. We have our 5th annual film festival. I can't believe we're coming up on 5 years. And if ever there was a program that was appropriate for our times, this is it. It was meant to be. Our opening movie is a documentary about the Edie Windsor case, which was the case that took gay marriage and made it legal at the Supreme Court. One of the primary lawyers on the case, Julie Fink, who is an associate of Roberta Kaplan, will be here in the desert, and I would like to see that theater filled with support for this woman and all they have fought for. We also have 2 other movies the next day on Sunday, and they're both narrative films, but based in what could actually be true. Light of the Moon is a narrative film about a young woman who gets raped, and it is all of the trauma that follows her after this happens, and talk about timely film. And the other film, some of you may have already seen it at the International Film Festival, but it was too perfect not to bring. It's called Divine Order, and it's from Switzerland, and it is the story about women did not get the right to vote in Switzerland until 1971. I never knew that, but you all know that now. We are selling passes for all 3 films today only for $20. So for $20, even if you can't come, I hope you will support Planned Parenthood. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. And she's got a table in the back there, and that's a great deal. Thank you. We want to support Planned Parenthood and the film festival. Yeah, I can't believe it's the 5th one either. We're now going to get into very brief introductions of all the wonderful candidates who are here with us today. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Dory Smith.
Okay, it's been a while, but suddenly we have a lot of progressives running for various city council offices. And I wish there were more in my city of Palm Desert. Anyway, we're not sure everyone's here yet. They're going to come up, introduce themselves, and just mention one major issue. Bill, would you do the timing when they start? Okay, is Josie Gonzalez here? Okay, come on up, Josie. And then all the candidates, come on up. If you're a candidate for city council, come on up. I know Wayman and Raymond are here, and okay, great. While they're coming up, I'm going to let Josie get started. She's running for city council in Coachella.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, yes. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for the invite. I'm probably none of you have ever heard about me. That's okay, because you will today. As an advocate for 30 years, and a very committed and progressive Republican, not Democrat, I have worked, like I said, 30 years in advocating for families, and I currently continue to do that. So my excitement about running for the city of Coachella as a lifelong resident for 55 years is pretty natural, because have been advocating in the background for low-income families with any type of legal aid issue that they've had. And then in my current position as a supervisor for child welfare, where we're constantly providing protection for children and services to families. So real quick, I just wanted to say recently, someone had said, why are you going to change? Because I know you, Josie, your whole life. Are you going to change when you become should you become elected? And I said, you know, this woman ain't changing. She's 55 years old, and I'm who I am, and I will continue to be that voice for the people that I've been a voice for 30 plus years. And so I'm so excited to be in this position where I have this privilege to hopefully represent the community of Coachella.
Megan Beeman isn't here yet, so we'll go on to Wayman. We have a Raymond and a and I just lost part of the tooth, so they're both hard to say. Okay, Wayman, come on up.
How you guys doing? I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Thank you for having me. I just finished walking, so I still got a little bit of energy going. We've been walking this morning, we've been on the concrete, and we've been going door to door. My numbers are well in my favor, and I'm going to be that voice. Thank you. I'm going to be that voice for those folks who haven't had a voice in Indio for over 20 years, and some of those communities who've been left behind. I'm going to bridge that gap. And how I'm going to bridge that gap? I've been endorsed by the mayor of Coachella, Steve Hernandez. I've been endorsed by Betty Sanchez. I've been endorsed by Christy Holsage. I've been endorsed by Manuel Perez. Right? And it's going to keep going, and that's how we're going to bridge that gap, not only in Indio, but throughout the whole Coachella Valley. And you all know my opponent is Mike Wilson. Right? You know what? My whole life I've been taking care of bullies, right? So I'm going to take care of this one too. It's time for Mike Wilson to go. Right? And Democrats of the Desert, I'm going to need your help. So please, if you can, contribute to my campaign, and we're going to take Mike Wilson out together. It's going to be a team effort, so thank you for having me, and I'll be back.
Remember Raymond Furman, and here is Carlos Pineda for Palm Desert.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlos Pineda, and I'm running for City Council in Palm Desert. I just wanted to share a little bit about what's happening. I've also had several endorsements by several Democratic parties, or clubs, I should say, which I'm very grateful to have. I also, this week, just finished going through the process of the endorsement with the Desert Sun. I had been warned that they're very brutal when it comes to it's like an interview process, but you know what? I'm still standing. So, to me, let's just say, I don't think they were expecting me to show. And when I got there, I overheard somebody say, and there was 4 of us. Because there was only 3. There's supposed to be a 5th person, but nobody has heard anything. There's supposed to be a debate coming up, and it's gonna be at the University, Cal State University of San Bernardino. It's gonna be on the 25th. So if anybody is from Palm Desert or anybody else, the only support I'm asking for you to do is show up. It's between 6 to 8, and it'll be great to have a little bit of support because we need to let them know that we are taking over. So thank you.
Debate again, September 25th.
This Tuesday, the 25th, from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's going to be in the Indian Wells building at the Cal State University on Cook. Is that right there?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and who's next? John, come on up, you're closest. Yeah, hi John. Come on up.
Thank you very much.
All about candidates.
It's all about candidates. Thank you very much for Mayor. I am on the Architecture Review Committee where I have served since 2007, continue to serve today. Nearly 40 years in the field of architecture. I'm a licensed architect in the state of California. I've worked with city agencies, state agencies, county agencies, at all levels of government and with the public. I know how to deal with these systems, how to get things through, how to get things done. More important, as far as Democrats go, I am a Democrat. It runs through my veins. It's at the soul of my heart. And the one thing about being a Democrat is this is not something like everything else in life, that we are born into our ethnicity, our nationality, gender, sexual identity, whatever we are, we're born with that. But Democrats, that's something we choose to be. We live that choice. And we embrace it. The one thing that I would like to say about Democrats is, and I'm going to steal this from our proud men and women in the service, that no one is left behind. No individual is left behind ever. It just doesn't happen. So one of the things I push hard for is inclusion, that everyone is given a voice. Every voice is heard. Every idea is examined, embraced, pushed forward, manipulated, however, to come up with a solution. That's what architects do. We take a tough problem to solve, and we solve it. So, I'm being pushed off the stage at random time, but I really, really appreciate this moment. Thank you very much.
Now, Raymond Gregory.
So now it's John Rivera. He's running in District 4 of Cathedral City. I'm Raymond Gregory, and I'm running in District 5. So my area is Panorama, La Posada, the Mark David, senior housing, and a portion of Rio Vista. So if you live up there, you know someone up there, I'm your endorsed candidate by this group and by the Democratic Party in California and of the county. And I am working to get on the city council. The city council has made a lot of progress over the years. Everybody thinks that Cathedral City is being progressive, and it is. But that's because all of you have made it that way. But we have to keep working, because if we don't do that, we're not going to get progressive candidates, and we're not going to be able to continue to enjoy the diversity and the welcoming that we have here in Cathedral City. So I retired last year after 27 years on the Sheriff's Department. There are Democrats and progressive people in the Sheriff's Department. One less now, but there are people there. While I was there, I was the LGBT liaison. I worked from the inside to help with progressive policies, and I want to continue to do that work in Cathedral City. So hopefully you'll continue to support me. I appreciate the endorsement of you and a lot of the local Democrats, and I'll continue to work for you.
Christy wants to speak for Megan Beeman, who isn't here yet, right? Megan? No?
Thank you. Sorry if you're not tired of me yet, but I want to take 2 minutes just for Megan Beeman, who's I've endorsed, and I'm on her campaign team. And so Megan was walking this morning. She's the mother of 2 young children, 2 and 4, and so she couldn't be here right now, but she's an incredible candidate that's running for Coachella City Council. I've worked with Megan since 2012. We co-counsel social justice and civil rights litigation together. We represent injured workers, people who are discriminated against, harassed. She represents undocumented people in their immigration cases. Megan is the real deal. She's incredible. She's been endorsed by the California Democratic Party. She's been endorsed by Stonewall Democrats, Manny Perez, the whole host, a gamut of Democratic endorsements. It's incredible to see 2 women running for Coachella City Council when it's primarily been a boys club. There's only 1 woman, Betty Sanchez, on that city council right now. And so we need to do everything we can to support young women like Megan who are running. She's exactly the type of candidate that we need to endorse and support. So on her behalf, I ask for your support for Coachella. Megan Beeman Jacinto for Coachella City Council. Thank you.
Gardner arrived. He was going to try to get here, so he's Not, maybe if he comes, we'll give him a chance.
Thank you. Any other candidates? Remember, we are recommitting to victory, right? It's wonderful to have all these candidates here, and we are stepping into some new ground in some of our cities with having progressive Democrats helping our cause. I now want to invite up Andy Cogan. Andy is the campaign manager for Congressman Ruiz.
Yeah, before I forget, Ellie's selling some shirts in the back if you want one of these. We have blue ones and white ones. My name is Andy Colgan. I'm the Congressman's campaign manager. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you for all of your support, to Rob, to everyone on the board, and to all of you in this room who have come and helped us make phone calls and knock on doors and text people to help us get out the vote. We just started, and now that it's technically fall and it's just in the low 100s, we started knocking on doors early in the morning. So if you're interested in doing that, I would please feel free to reach out. On all of your tables here, there's 7 things in 7 weeks that you can do to help Dr. Ruiz and all these other great candidates that are here today. So please, at the bottom of this, you can reach out to our field director, Tripp, who can help you get into our volunteer system. So just a quick update on the campaign and what we've been doing. First, I've got PJ in the back, who's with our campaigner. He's going to pass out these clipboards. We're going to sign up people to walk. We're walking in conjunction with the Democrats of the Desert, in the Pride Parade in November 4th. Yeah, Sunday, November 4th. So it's 2 days before the election. So we want to have a really big showing. We'd like to get 50 people from this group, and then our campaign's going to bring 50 people. Having said that, we have, I don't know, this week we had, there was a news story on our volunteer efforts and the internship that we have going on KMIR, and we had, right now we have, I don't know the exact number, but it's close to 70 high school interns for our campaign, which is it's great. They're coming there. These kids are awesome. They're coming there after school for a few hours or on the weekend. Right now, I think there's about 40 people at our office making phone calls. And we have some people out on the doors. Jackie Lopez back there was knocking on doors this morning. Thanks, Jackie. So we're really excited about everything that's happening right now. The congressman is he's got to go back to DC this week for a couple more weeks, and then we'll be here for a few weeks as the campaign kind of ramps up. But just this week, on Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember what day it was. It's been a long week. He introduced the RAISE Act, which helps small businesses, gives them tax credits if they increase wages for their workers. So it incentivizes them to increase the pay for workers in small businesses. We all know how important small businesses are to our economy, so super excited about that one. And he also has a Medicare. I'm not the policy guy, I'm the political guy, so I'm bad at talking about this stuff. But there's another bill that passed in the House that's going through the Senate and will likely be signed into law by the president that affects seniors and opioid abuse. So we're super excited about that one as well. I can't remember if there's anything else I was going to talk about, but really appreciate being here and all of your help and support. And please sign up to volunteer for our campaigns. The more that we turn out our Democrats this year, the better. Oh, is that me? Is that you telling me my time's up? Sorry. Okay, sorry. Thanks, everyone.
We got to keep moving, folks, and we really don't have time for questions to the candidates, but everybody's going to be in the back and staying. Now I want to ask Doris Foray, our treasurer, to come up and join me. Hello, Doris. And she's got her nasty candidate, Joy Silver, to join us. Because of the generation of the generous and the generosity of Democrats of the Desert, of all of you and all of us who have worked hard this year, we want to present Joy from Democrats of the Desert a check today for $1,000. And it's a real check and it's not going to bounce. Now, you tell us about the slanderous stuff that's going on in the mailbox, briefly.
Oh, the extreme right. They use our personal and our professional tragedies caused by their own behaviors, of their prejudices and their policies and their power grabs to shut us up. This is not going to happen, and it won't happen to us. And, well, my opponent, distracting, diversion tactic from his do-nothing record, I take it as a badge of honor that he wanted to spend so much money to deliver lies and out-of-context statements into your mailbox. He must be very, very scared. He's going to punish us for standing up, for bringing more of our resources back to Riverside County, standing up for progressive values, standing up for women and for truth and for marriage equality and for education and for clean air. I say no, hell no. Not shutting up, not going away. So how do we deal with this? I'll tell you how we deal with this. We win! We vote! That's how we do it. California, stand up, fight back, stand up, fight back, stand up, fight back. That's how we do it. And how can you help us do that? Come see us Friday night, where you get to meet Dolores Huerta, who's coming right here to stand with all of us. And candidates that are in this room, show up at that event, bring your rally cards. Show us all who you are. I will mention you. I will let you stand up in front of that crowd, because together, it's all of us or it's none of us. So, there are envelopes. This is a big fundraising day. Tonight's the deadline for reporting, where we show our power. And one thing, and I know I have to be short, and by the way, I'm naturally short. You will. The polls, I'm just going to tell you that when the poll was done, and we're so close to my opponent, that's when you all got the hit piece. We're almost there. We should be very, very scared. So let's make it happen, and thank you all, and thank you, and thank everybody in this room that's been working on this campaign. I'm Joy Silver, and I'm running for 7th District 28.
Thank you, Joy. Joy's going to be with us today, and she has campaign donation envelopes. It doesn't stop here. So, and she's going to be in the back of the room to take questions. Now we want to bring up another amazing woman in the Year of Women. It's going to be a great new wave run by women. Is the amazing Denny Antoinette. Again, because of the generosity of all of us in Democrats of the Desert, we want to present an additional check to Denny for $1,000.
You all know I'm Friday, so just a moment to thank you, everyone. DOD has been my biggest supporter. I have some of my advisors here. I also have my campaign manager, Matthew Campos, in the back. We have envelopes, we have cards. Please support us. As Joy told you, tonight's the night. We turn in our numbers tonight. I need your help. We all need your help. I think, Deborah, do we have sign-up sheets back there? I want to tell you a story. Most of you know me. I stand for universal health care for everybody. Everybody. I have been fighting for women and seniors, and I will continue. DACA must stay. And let's get off of that. I want to thank you for being with me. I know that I'm going to get beat on the back in just a minute, so I'm going to make this short. We definitely need your support. You have provided it. I'm asking you to step forward. We have a commercial coming out on 3 radio stations throughout the district. Listen to me and support me. But most of all, don't forget my new program, Support a Voter. Get someone that hasn't voted, that isn't registered, get them registered. Take them to the polls. Support us, Democrats. Thank you, and I love you, and thank you for this.
Politician who was quick. That's great, thank you. While we're talking about voter registration, and congratulations again to all of the candidates who are here with us, and please stay and talk to people. We do have a lot of announcements still to make, but we also have a special guest, and I'm going to have Doris introduce our guest because he has another commitment back in Riverside. They do. So here's Doris to introduce our guest.
Hi.
Sorry. This is about voter registration and recommitment. Are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Just briefly, I have been a poll worker for 10 years, and you learn a lot when people are coming to vote. And if there was ever a problem or a question, I would call the registrar of voters, the office in Riverside, and I got to talk to a gentleman named Art Tinoco, and he was always so nice, so helpful, and so supportive. Well, we're lucky. We got him today. He's now the assistant to the registrar of voters, and I'd like to introduce Art Tinoco.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the invite. It is truly an honor to be here with all of you this afternoon. Beautiful Saturday. I do want to mention that this facility we're going to use for 2 boards on Election Day, November 6th. Beautiful facility. I can't say the least. It's just so difficult to go. Larry and I have been working on obtaining polling places over the last 3 weeks. And Dayton Country Club always comes around for us. So thank you again for those who make that happen. I just want to also mention to all candidates in the room, I wish you the best on your campaigns. I know you're all here representing various offices that will be on the ballot on November 6th. So again, the best to you as we move into Election Day. I'd like to have Larry pass out. We finally completed the official ballot. And I'd like for him to pass out a sample of that official ballot. And please take a look at it. It's a 2-card ballot, meaning that we have an A front card, A back card, B front, and B back. 2-card ballot. Take a look at it. This is not for this particular jurisdiction or what you're eligible to vote for. It's only a sample. I'd like you to look at it so that you know what it looks like. And of course, the official ballot will be a lot smaller than this ballot. This is more of a proof that I'm providing to you today. So please do take a look at that. Let me start off with letting you know we're 45 days away from the upcoming November 6th consolidated election, so it's coming quick. I do want to point out that the Register of Voters is extremely busy as we speak. Staff were there today till 4:30. Actually, we will be there today till 4:30. We are finalizing not only the polling places, but also our recruitment of poll workers. So again, they're calling many of our poll workers who either have agreed to assist us on November 6th or trying to reach out to individuals that hopefully will consider us as on election day to assist. Larry and I brought some resources for you. He actually has some registration cards. He has some poll worker applications. And also we have, aside from just a regular poll worker, county employee poll worker applications, and also student poll worker applications. And I'll talk more about those. But just so that you're acquainted with what our office does, I'm sure our candidates know exactly what our office does because we see them. I've heard so many names, and I read your candidate statements carefully every single election, and I read through the ballot and read through those names carefully. Finally, I'm able to put some faces to some names. So this is great to be here and be able to do that. But we actually conduct state-mandated services. We also conduct federal, state, and local elections. We are a nonpartisan organization. And we maintain voter registration records currently for over 983,000 registered voters countywide. Folks, we actually serve over 28 cities, 7,200 square miles of the county of Riverside. So that's quite a bit of territory. We also provide voter outreach, as we are doing today, to inform our voting community and the community as a whole about the different services that we offer. We have an operating budget of $10.8 million, and we have 35 permanent staff members. Folks, we're a small office. You're probably wondering, how do you get this massive job completed within the required time frames? Well, we hire between 20 and 400 temporary employees through the County of Riverside's temporary program, and those folks are background checked, and those folks actually come to our office in different ways. Between 4 to 5 months before an election, they come in and we train them, and they start helping us with various jobs such as training our poll workers, vote by mail processing, development and proofing of the official ballot, the sample ballot. So just to give you a few items of what these folks do to assist. You're probably thinking November 6th. Once November 6th hits around, that's it. Nope, we still have 30 days after November 6th to continue what we call our official canvass process. So again, those folks stay with us. Probably they will stay with us through December 7th. We have multiple divisions at our office. One of them is our services division. And that is where we do our campaign disclosure processing, our candidate services. We have staff dedicated and trained to process paperwork. Our candidates go through a lot of documents that they must complete and ensure that they're accurate. Ballot designations for those candidates that remember, again, those are huge things, big deal, because that's what we print on the official ballot. So a lot of work goes into that. We also do state and local, or process state and local petitions for jurisdictions. We get a lot of cities requesting us to verify signatures for them and provide certifications based on what our findings are. We have vote by mail services. About 67% of our county, many of you are now voting by mail. That means we mail a paper ballot to your residence, and you are then able to vote on that paper ballot and return it to our office prior to election day. And 3 days after election day, according to the law, as long as it is postmarked by election day. So again, that is convenient, easy. About 67% of Riverside County is voting by mail. Again, vote by mail ballots are the first counted. just to let you know. And they are also the first ones that we process. Those are the first results we release for those candidates in the room. Those are the first results we release a little bit after 8 p.m. on election day. So that's good information to have. We also do a lot of voter file maintenance. It's not only obtaining a registration card, processing that registration card, and then that's it. We actually need to maintain cards. There's certain laws and requirements that indicate that should the voter's ballot come back to us undeliverable, then we need to go and research and send some type of notification to that voter, so that again we can clean our voter registration file. Needless to say, there is now a statewide voter registration database that was just recently implemented this year. Now what that allows us to do is now it's been cleaned up for several months now, where many voters that were potentially registered twice, okay, we can now go in and clean that up. We know where voters are being registered. If there's 2 registrations, which is not allowed, then we immediately contact the voter and we do a lot of our maintenance to ensure that the voter is only registered in 1 county out of the 58 counties in the state of California. So that's the new process. I've never thought that we would get there. Some of the other states, as part of the Help America Vote Act of 2003, they had already implemented these systems. California, because of its massive size, had not yet implemented it. However, it was required. Finally, this year, we have a system where we can go and research any voters who are registered in more than 1 location in the state of California. We also have an operations division. Larry is the coordinator to ensure that not only our polling places are found and selected, but also ensure that our volunteers, over 3,000, are recruited. So he's got a massive task in front of him that he needs to complete within specific deadlines. Additionally, he needs to recruit 1,100 Spanish-speaking bilingual persons to assist voters at the polls. In addition to that, there's a state mandate that requires us to recruit in certain parts of the county folks who speak the Tagalog, Chinese, Mandarin, and or Cantonese, Korean, and or Vietnamese. So a lot of work goes into recruitment. Aside from recruiting the poll workers, we also need to look at those languages. We also have a GIS department, and again, I don't know if candidates or anybody here knew that we have a GIS, Geographic Information Systems department. They create customized maps, and there is a cost to them, but it's beautiful maps that our team creates. And they could be large size maps to smaller size maps to PDFs of a map if necessary. But again, reach out to our office and we can provide you more details as to what types of maps we provide. I know we do a lot of walking lists as you're working on your campaigns to reach out to voters, and again, we also have that information. Logistics is incredible. We actually have 584 polling places that we will be establishing on November 6th. That means we hire 4 transfer companies that will ensure that every polling place has 5 voting booths, 1 accessible electronic voting booth, 1 to 2 tables and chairs. And again, when you're talking 584 polling places, that is definitely quite an undertaking. We also are required to maintain records based on a County of Riverside's records retention schedule, so that is critical for us. Again, otherwise we would be keeping documents forever. However, there is a document, I don't know if you knew, that we have to keep forever, and that's everybody's registration cards. Elections Code says we must keep those and we can't destroy them. So we have everybody's paper registration cards stored at our office in Riverside County. Let me talk about the November 6th election. I think you're definitely interested in what I have to say in relation to the election. So we talked about the 584 polling places. There will be 327 different ballot styles. So please keep in mind that in June, we had 46 different ballot styles. What does that mean? For example, City of Riverside, city council members running for the City of Riverside, If you're a voter in the city of Riverside, you obviously can't vote in the city of Blythe if they have council members running in the city of Blythe, because the ballots are not compatible, one, and you're not eligible, you don't live in that community. So we have 327 different styles, just imagine, based on 46 in June. Yeah, we have definitely a huge, huge printing task in front of us. So that is definitely ongoing at this point. 350 candidates actually are running this upcoming election, quite a bit. So somebody made mention that a lot of cities are going to election this upcoming November 6th. You are correct. Most cities are going, city council members, treasurer offices, and then you also have special districts such as parks, library districts, water districts. In addition to that, you have school districts. So a lot of school districts going. That's what our GIS has to deal with when they're creating the ballot. All those districts that are running everywhere create all of those ballot types, those 327. Because in June, we did not have any local offices going. That's why you only have 46 ballot types. Only state offices were primarily on the ballot. There were, of course, some offices like supervisor offices. We had District 4, which was in this area, which was on the ballot, but very, very few. There are 11 state propositions. When you look at that ballot, note that there is something important on the propositions. Proposition 9 was taken out of the ballot, and there is a note that Proposition 9 was removed from the ballot by order of the California Supreme Court. So don't get confused. If you're looking through the ballot, there's nothing in that box, and that the reason is listed on the ballot as to why. We have 24 local ballot measures. That means that we have cities throughout Coachella Valley, throughout the west part of Riverside that have measures on there. What will be on the ballot? You've seen the ballot. County Voter Information Guide, folks. County Voter Information Guide, I have the one for June. These will start going out in the mail on the 27th of September. We are currently finalizing the creation of this guide. Please, every voter in Riverside County will receive one of these guides for November. Take a look at inside the guide. It contains important information about how to mark your ballot. It's critical. It provides information as far as the sample ballot that you're eligible to vote on. It provides information on candidate statements. Candidate statements are not required by a candidate. The candidate does pay for those candidate statements. So again, if you don't see a candidate statement for a certain candidate, it's because they chose not to pay and have it published in the County Voter Information Guide. Also, the Voter Information Guide, note that there are multiple options for you to be able to vote on November 6th. Those are early voting locations that we have. We have 3 throughout the county of Riverside. Westfield Shopping Town will be one of those early voting locations. We will be there, hoping that you will come out and vote on that day. The early voting locations are scheduled for, and they're correctly, the 26th of October, 27th, and 28th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October. So keep that in mind, and the County Voter Information Guide will provide that information. Additionally, if you chose to request a vote by mail ballot, you may drop your vote by mail ballot off at any city clerk location. So you can go to the city and drop it off there, or you can mail it. If you drop it off at the city clerk or wait till election day, November 6th, and drop it off at any polling place, that's fine too. The law's changed. Vote by mail ballots can be dropped off in any county in the state of California. You can go anywhere in the state and drop it off. And those ballots will be returned to us on election, actually it's going to be after election day, and that's fine, as long as they're received on election day. So again, that's very good information to know. But we have 28 city clerks that are waiting for you 29 days before the election. That's when the city clerks will have those ballot boxes out there. If you don't need postage when you drop it off there either. If you decide to mail in your vote by mail ballot, please do it 7 days. We recommend 7 days before the election so that it gets to us timely. or it needs to be postmarked on election day, and that's fine, as long as we get it 3 days after election day, but it needs to be postmarked on election day. So a lot of good information there on vote by mail. You may also drop off your vote by mail at the early voting locations that we have out there on election day. So that's definitely not an issue.
How many stamps?
It'll take at least 72 cents. Yeah, it'll take 72 cents. Same as June. It's a 2-card ballot. 72 or 71 or 72, one of those two. But it's in the 70s. But I only get 72 cents. Right, but it does require 2 steps. I want to call out to this group and any family members, anybody you know, please send them our way. We are still about 800 poll workers short. We're about, what did we say, 43 days from the election. So I really, anybody that you know, including yourselves, if you'd like to work as a poll worker, all it requires is that you are available on election day. We do provide you what we call a compensation. It's not a lot of compensation, it's a little compensation, but it's good to go to Denny's after election night, right? So it's a good thing. So if you like to volunteer, you're required to attend a 2 to 2.5 hour training class by our dedicated trainers that Larry ensures are properly trained so that they go out there. We have about 5 trainers, over 150 classes in the month of October. So again, election day does begin 6:15 to 9:30 p.m. We have various positions, precinct inspector, which is the lead officer, precinct officer. We have county poll worker, city, student poll worker, wage inspector, Spanish language rover, so on and so forth. And I'm going to go ahead and conclude this afternoon by providing you a few more statistics that you are probably interested in. And that is, last day to register to vote is going to be Monday, October 22nd. That means that we will be at our office till midnight, waiting for any last minute registrations. And again, that is the last day. Sample ballots, again, start going out September 22nd. Look in your mailbox. That's when they start going out. Vote by mail ballots will start going out October 9th. October 8th is the holiday. It's Columbus Day. So it'll be the next day that those start going out. And if you would like to request a vote by mail ballot, we ask that you request it before October 30th. That is the last day that you may request a vote by mail ballot. Again, early voting, we're going to be at those 3 malls from 10 to 4 p.m. 3 malls are Galleria, Tyler, and Riverside, if you're in that area. Promenade in Temecula, if you're in the city of Temecula, or the Westville shopping town here in Palm Desert. And then again, folks, November 6th is just around the corner. Polls will open from 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. I want to thank you all for your time and attention, and for any of you who help us every and each election at a polling place or in any other effort to ensure that elections in Riverside County are successful and that our voters have an opportunity to vote. So thank you so much, and if you have any questions, I'm open to questions. So I have a special request, and one of those requests is provisional ballots. How many in this room have ever cast a provisional ballot? Very good, okay. And I know that when a provisional ballot is cast, you're probably wondering, is it even counted? Well, I can guarantee you every one of those provisional ballots are counted. We cannot certify the election without having reviewed all provisionals, all vote by mail ballots dropped off at the polling place or that were cast, and on election day at any of these city clerk locations. All of that needs to be processed before the registrar can certify. Provisional ballots are unique. They're very, very unique in the following ways. So if you go to a polling place and the officers there do not find your name on the roster, then usually that will prompt a provisional ballot. Folks, sometimes there are human errors that do occur. I've seen them over and over and over where potentially somebody at the polling place missed a page, or maybe the page got stuck, or whatever, for whatever reason the person could not locate your name. Usually I research those and I do find that individual on the roster. But again, they were given a provisional ballot. That provisional ballot is perfect because that provisional ballot, if that person did not vote in any other manner, that provisional ballot will count. So, yes.
I just want to say there is a woman, I forget her name, I forget her state, but she was on probation and the officer didn't tell her she couldn't vote and she did, and she's serving either 10 months or 6 years, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
She was on parole.
She was on parole. So there are certain laws that we must follow when, there are folks out there that may be on parole. So one thing that we do ask is if you know of any situations where you know there is some type of illegal voting out there, okay, you find out if you provide us specifics. Okay, sometimes we get a lot of details, but they're not specific enough. We can't research if we don't know a name potentially, an address for that voter, or that person that potentially is doing something wrong. We need specifics. If you can get us specifics, then we're able to immediately research, and many cases do go to the district attorney's office for further investigation. I've seen it. I've been with the Register of Voters for 17 years, and I've seen a lot of situations where we get a lot of generalities, but we want specifics so that we can then go and figure out what we need to do. So keep that in mind. As you hear things, you see things, get specifics for us. It helps us so that when we do investigate. Any other questions? We don't have time for questions? Okay. So, you bet. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Register of Voters is here for you. Any questions, any needs of our services, please. We're just a phone call away. We are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Art and Larry, for being here. Thank you. Larry and Art are going to be in the back of the room, so if you have a specific question for them, they're going to be hanging around for a few minutes. While we're talking about recommitment and voter registration and deadlines and all of that, I do want to report to you, Priscilla Richardson and Pam Simpkins are Democrats of the Desert captains for voter registration. And many of you have volunteered to do voter registration. Extremely important. Extremely important. The last day to register is October 22nd. We are going to have, and we already have, places throughout the valley where you can register people to vote. So far, Priscilla could not be here today, and Pam could not be here today. But so far, Democrats of the Desert, we have registered 43 Democrats, 6 do not, no party preference, and 3 Rs. So we're doing very well. But keep in mind that we need to pick this up. And when the ballots drop and when the pamphlets drop, the interest in voting is going to go way up. So we've been at some locations where there have been people just not interested yet. So if you are interested in volunteering to register to vote, please come up and see me. We also have voter registration forms here. If anybody needs one today, remember if you change your address, you do have to re-register. And we have voter registration cards where you can give to people, you can give out to people. There's a code on the back, and people can actually register to vote on their phone. So, thank you so much, you guys. Yeah. So, voter registration is vitally important. Okay? Now, moving along on our long agenda here. Thank you again, guys. They don't do a whole lot of talks to groups, so we really appreciate you. Okay, we're going to continue. We need the ballots back. Thank you. You're welcome to get up and get refreshments. We have drinks, we have lots of goodies. And I want to thank Jan and the hospitality committee for providing those for us today. So let's hear it for them. And also, you have on your table one of these. Everything that we print up for you costs money. It costs money to get refreshments, and it costs money to make an organization work. So please put whatever you can in the donkey bag before you leave today. I'm now going to ask Rick Weingard to come up and make an announcement about Democratic headquarters in the desert. Rick Weingard.
Thank you, Rob. Good afternoon, everybody. I promise to make this one fast. Don't want me to look at me. Just a couple of, excuse me. Okay, everybody, we're going to just for a moment. Thank you, Rick Weingard from Democratic Headquarters Desert on the CPL, and want to say good afternoon. Just a couple of quick announcements. Democratic Headquarters of Desert is going to be open 6 days a week starting October 1st from 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 2 on Saturdays. So any questions you have, any ways to be a benefit, voter registration, handouts on candidates, contribution forms, we'll have it there. We'll have it through Election Day. Election Day we will be open at 6 o'clock in the morning. For voter registration, we've given out 11,000 voter registration cards. So congratulations to everybody who's got. Okay, last thing is, first week in October, door hangers will be coming in. They're mailing right at the beginning of the week. They have to get printed in English and Spanish. There will be getting some 22,000 door hangers that are coming into the valley. Democrats in Desert will have 500. Dr. Raul's office will have 2,000. We'll have thousands also in Democratic headquarters. They will be door hanger type, and they will be without the die cut, which means the little top portion will be cut off so they stick in an envelope, and you just throw a stamp on it. You can mail it to anybody you want.